At this time, we're going to have Kathy Moore come forward. This lady has been busy. She made over 9 quilts this year, and we're going to be able to present 3 veterans with Quilts of Valor. She attends the Haswell. Is there a special name for that up there?
Colorado Prairie Quilters.
Colorado Prairie Quilters at Haswell, and there's a good group of women up there, and one token male. You didn't hear me. That's what happens with a lot of you veterans, right? A lot of guns. Anyway, my husband is also a Quilt of Valor member, and he made this quilt over here. And that one was given to my dad before he passed away. So it's definitely a privilege. We're asking people this year if they've received a quilt, or if they have not received a quilt. People nominate people to have quilts, so please keep us posted, and if you're interested in something like that, or a family member interested in getting something for their loved one who's a veteran, let me know. At this time, I'll turn it over to Kathy.
Just a little FYI, Quilts of Valor began in 2003 when founder Catherine Roberts' son was deployed to Iraq. She had a dream about a young man being wrapped in a quilt, changing his demeanor from despair to hope. She felt that quilts equaled healing. The quilt has to be machine or hand quilted, and it is awarded for service of our nation. It says you are appreciated.
No, I have it like this one. It goes up and down. There you go.
The first one is for Nancy Nakamura Clark. Nancy was born in Denver, Colorado, and attended schools there. She then attended University of Colorado Boulder, obtaining a degree in Asian Studies. She joined the Army 1 year after graduation, going to South Carolina for basic training. Her first duty station was at Fort Hutch, Arakaw in Arizona. I hope I said that correctly. For 4 months, then to San Antonio, Texas for 4 months. She was sent to South Korea for 1 year, stationed 15 miles from the North Korean border. This is where the TV series MASH was depicted. She was then stationed at Yuma, Arizona at the proving grounds where she trained as a helicopter medic. However, she was never in a helicopter. She also married there. Nancy was stationed in Germany in artillery at Kreilhausen for 3 years doing field maneuvers. Her husband was also in Germany. She was on temporary duty 2 different years for 1 week on the Isle of Crete in Greece. While there, she was assigned to handle those who claimed they were sick and what to do with them. While stationed in Germany, their first child a son was born. A married female was allowed to stay in the service and maintain rank, while an unmarried female was discharged. We've come a long way. She flew with their son from Germany to South Carolina for discharge, then to Ohio to her husband's family. He was discharged 1 month later in Maryland. The 3 of them flew to Denver. In 1986, they were both hired as nursing assistants at Fort Lyon, where a daughter was welcomed. Nancy then worked in the outpatient office, making appointments and arranging travel for veterans to Denver. She also helped with updating records and keeping track of deposits and withdrawals. Nancy left Fort Lyon in 2000 to obtain full retirement at Denver VA in 2010. While there, she stayed with her mother. She then came back to Los Animas to live with her family. Her husband departed 5 years ago, and she started volunteering at the museum in 2019. Thank you, Nancy.
The other way. Yeah. There you go. This way. Here, sweetie.
Alfred Trujillo is the next one. Al was born in Los Animas and joined the Army in 1965, his senior year in high school. Boot camp was at Fort Bliss, Texas, then to Fort Gordon, Georgia in communications, then to jump school at Fort Benning, Georgia. He was sent to Bad Holz, Germany in the 10th Special Forces as a Special Forces paratrooper. He was a volunteer. This was a volunteer assignment. He jumped out of a helicopter once and out of a plane several times. While on leave, he married. He was stationed in Vietnam from February 1968 in a train, the 5th Special Forces as a communications specialist. General Westmoreland came to the camp to boost morale. His company was assigned to provide security for those visits. The mail came from Saigon to Nha Trang, and he then helped carry the mail from Cam to Cam Ranh Bay. He left Vietnam in November 1968. He was given Good Conduct Badge, a Vietnam Service Badge, and a Paratrooper Badge. Al was discharged at Fort Lewis, Washington. He came back to Los Animas working at Fort Lyon. He started in the kitchen and became foreman in charge of housekeeping supervisors. He also umpired softball for 6 years for Tingo Magana. He also owned Al's liquor store. He has 2 sons and currently lives in his great-grandmother's house. He is a lifetime member of the VFW and DAV. He has had kidney cancer from a possible exposure to Agent Orange. He broke his hip in June of 2022 as a result of a fall at his home. Thank you, Al, for your service. Mr. Garcia and I had a little meeting. I won. Jesus Garcia, best known as Jess, was born in Los Animas and attended school through his freshman year, when he then joined the Army. He was sent to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri for basic training, then to Fort Gordon, Georgia for advanced infantry training, then to Fort Benning, Georgia for heavy weapons training. He was stationed in Mannheim, Germany, working in a highly classified area, assigned to the 51st Infantry, which was dispersed after 1 year. Jess was then stationed with the 3rd Infantry E Company, 1st Battle Group in Bamberg, Germany, which was dispersed after 90 days. He was then assigned to the 64th Armored in Bavaria. Jess went back to Fort Benning, assigned to the 1st Cavalry Division, Air Mobile A Company 27. He was then deployed to Vietnam from Fort Jackson, North Carolina. In Vietnam, he was involved in the Battle of the LZ X-Ray and LZ Albany, Battle of Latrine Valley, and Operation Masher. He was wounded during the Battle of Silver Bayonet and Silver Shield. He was a forward observer, not with the others in his unit, when he was shot in his right thigh and hip. He was sent to the Philippines, then to Japan for surgery. He was in a wheelchair as there was nerve damage and he could not walk. His wife, Irene, contacted Congressman Byron Rogers to intervene, and he was transferred to Fitzsimmons Army Hospital in Denver. Byron Rogers was originally from Los Animas. After recovery, he was posted to Fort Benning, assigned as an instructor for the 81st Millimeter Mortar Committee, then back to Vietnam for the 44th Medical Brigade as security personnel. He was sent to Fort Benning, then to Germany, returned to Fitzsimmons for duty, then to South Korea for 1 year. He was then posted to Fort Carson in 1978 and retired from the service in December 1981. After retirement, he drove truck for Los Angeles Transfer, worked as a disabled American service officer at Fort Lyon. Jess is currently a district commander for the VFW and commander chapter 6 for the DAV. Thank you, Jess, for your service.
Way to go, Jess.
Thank you, Kathy, for all your hard work. She also presented Bill Lewis a quilt in the nursing home not too long ago also. So just thank you for your beautiful work and your time for these veterans.